Hi, I am Madhurima Datta, Zoology and Biology Educational Content Creators. Now's content for class 10, CBSE, ICSE and other boards unit reproduction system, and topic is sexual reproduction in plant. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. In flowers, androecium bearing anthers are the male reproductive parts. Pollen grains are the male gametes. Gynoecium bearing ovary are the female reproductive parts. Eggs are the female gametes. Sexually reproduction in plants takes place in the following steps. First, pollen grains from anther stick to the stigma of carpel. Pollen grains form pollen tubes to reach the ovule. Next, pollen grains fertilize the egg in ovules. These fertilized egg cells grow inside the ovules and become seeds. The seed produced new offsprings on germination under suitable condition of availability of water, temperature, air, and light. Next step is pollination. What is pollination? Pollination is of two types, that is self-pollination and cross-pollinations. Next, a flower is the reproductive organ is angiosperms. They have many structures. First structure is stalk and pedicel. It is an enlarged flattened tip of the stalk. Next, petals. Petals and other parts arise from the thalamus. Next part is thalamus, outer whole of the flower consisting of sepals. Next, calyx. The calyx protects the inner parts of the flower in their bud stage. Second, whole of the flower which is made up of petals. Next, helps flowers is attracting insect to carry out pollination. Next, androecium. It is the third whole and the male organ of the flower. Consists of stamens. Its stamen is made up of the filament and anther. Next, anther store pollen grain. Next, gynoecium. Innermost holes and the female reproductive organ consist of the stels or carpels. Carpel is made of stigma, style, and ovary. Next, self-pollination. Self-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. Example, rice, wheat, pea, etc. Next, what is the cross-pollination? In this type of pollination, the pollen grains from the anther on flower are transferred to the stigma of flower of another plant. Next is fertilization in plants. Pollination results in the deposition of related pollen grains over the receptive stigma of the carpel. One pollen tube grows from the pollen grain into the stigma, passes through the style and moves towards the ovarian cavity. Two non-motile male gametes are formed inside the tube during its growth through the style. After reaching the ovary, pollen tubes enter the ovule through the micropyle. The tip of the tube finally pierces the egg apparatus end of the embryo sac. Next, after penetration, the tip of the pollen tubes ruptures, releasing two male gametes into the embryo sac. During the act of fertilization, one male gamete fuses the egg to form the diploid zygote. This process is called syngamy. Next, the diploid zygote finally develops into the embryo and the male gamete fuses with the two polar nuclei to form the triploid and primary endosperm nucleus. Next, this process, that is formation of endosperm, is called the triple fusion. This mechanism involving two acts of fertilization in an embryo sac is called double fertilization. After fertilization, zygote develops into embryo. Ovule develops into the seeds and ovary develops into fruit. Next, fruit and seed formation. After fertilization, the ovary enlarges and form a fruit. Scientifically, the fruit is the ripened ovary and ovule forms the seed of the fruit. All parts other than the ovary dry up and fall off. Tomato, lady's finger and brinjals are all of fruit. Now the topic has ended.